Good evening and happy Wednesday to everybody. So in case you're wondering, who is this guy? Well, I am AFL Outsiders. I had my own channel before, but I was asked last night, hey, do you want to come over to AFL Fan Zone? Join us, bring all your content to AFL Fan Zone. So am I going to say no? I mean, I was by myself trying to do this all on my own. So of course I took on the invitation. I said, yes, I would love to. So here I am. A little bit about myself. I've been an avid fan for a few years. I just started this channel, like I said, about 2 months ago. I've been going to games since I was in high school back in Wisconsin. First game I ever went to was the Green Bay Blizzard. I think they were playing Quad City at the time. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's who they were playing at the time. I'm an NFL fan as well, Lions fan, so naturally I try to not think about the Lions when they're not playing. As far as what I'm posting, I plan on posting weekly updates on Wednesday nights like this, preview videos for each game, reaction videos for each game, as well as highlights. I plan on doing some highlights. So this will be a very active channel. It's not going to be every once in a while. I'm going to be posting, a good 3 or 4 nights a week more than likely. So please subscribe and continue to come back and check out what I got for you. Alright, that's enough about me. We're here to talk about the Arena Football League. And news that came out this week is a lot heavier than, if you've been following my other channel, than we've had in the past few weeks. I got quite a few things to talk about real quick. I'll try to get through these pretty quickly, but basically, number one, Friday night's game between the Predators and the Storm is the AFL's 3,000th game. That's a pretty big milestone for a league like the AFL, who, if you talk to a lot of people, they either go, oh, is the AFL still around, or what's arena football? So that's pretty awesome that it's Orlando and Tampa Bay, seeing as that both teams are celebrating their 25th anniversary this season. But their very first game was played in 1991, where Orlando went into the Storm and beat them 51-38. Handed Tampa Bay their only home loss of the season. So that was quite a few years ago, but the AFL's still around, and like I said, it's the 3,000th game. It kicks off Friday night, 7 o'clock on ESPN3, or if you're in the area, it's also on the Bright House Network. But for the rest of the country, ESPN3, Friday night, 7 o'clock. And just to let everyone know, they are having a special event that night. Their theme for the night is Throwback. They have award-winning artist Coolio coming in to do a post-game show for everybody. So if you're going to the game, make sure you stick around. Free little concert that Coolio's going to put on, but they got events, giveaways, silent auction, all that kind of stuff. So it should be a fun night there in Tampa. And speaking of Tampa, so I'm talking to my buddy today. He is a Tampa Bay fan, and he gave me this awesome nugget of information. So thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. So he told me that Derek Brooks went on the let's see, what's his name? Let's see. His name is Ron Diaz and JP show on 620, Sports Radio 620 WDAE in Tampa Bay. Came on there to talk a little bit about the team, a little bit about TT Tolliver and all that stuff. But the biggest update that he gave is about Jason Boltus. So Jason Boltus was put on the refused to report list a few weeks ago, and we haven't seen anything from him. No one was really sure what was going on with him this year, but Derek Brooks let us all know exactly what's going on. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Adam Kennedy going to be our starting quarterback as of now. Quarterback Jason Boltus, we got to wait a little while for him to join our team because of his position now over at the high school he's at in Orlando. Good for him. He earned the head coaching position. Nice. So we got to wait a little while. But I think we're in good hands with Adam Kennedy, who was New Orleans starting quarterback last year. And
so chins up, Tampa Bay fans. That's great news for you guys. Jason Boltus looks like he will be coming back later in the season. It's all depending on how Adam Kennedy plays. Obviously, if Kennedy plays pretty well, they're not just going to bench him for Boltus. But even though all teams are making the playoffs, let's hope that Adam Kennedy can do just enough to keep the Storm still relevant later in the season. Philadelphia announced this week that they have entered a partnership with, let's see, the Comcast Network and the Comcast Sportsnet. They will be broadcasting every single game on TV in the Philly area. That's home and away games, which is pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure they're the only team in the league to do this. So if you're in that area, please watch. It'll set an example for the rest of the league, saying, hey, see, if we put on every game, then people, at least in the local area, will watch. And maybe more teams will follow suit and have partnerships with their local TV stations. But if you're a Philly fan and you're in the area, please, I can't say enough, please tune in, watch it on TV, get those ratings up. So if you frequent Reddit and you're not yet on our Facebook page at AFL Fan Zone, then you will have seen that AFL Slasher had posted a cool little link that the Arena League had put out this year. It's called AFLdigital.com. So basically you can go on there and get stats from this year, once the season starts, stats from last year, last few years I believe, game logs, media guides. Right now they have 6 of the 8 teams. You can download their actual media guide. It's in PDF form. You can even print it and all that kind of stuff. The exact same thing as you could go to the game and pay for it. But they got 6 of 8 teams. The only teams they don't have right now are Jacksonville and Portland. But they both say coming soon, so it should be there sometime soon. You can also print out the rule book, the historical stats book, all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool little site. It's really basically just a stripped down version of their main site. You don't have all the extra fluff, all the pictures, and all the fluff links at the bottom and all that kind of stuff that you get from arenafootball.com. It's just straight up, here's the stats, here's the game logs, here's media guides, that kind of stuff. So you're into that kind of stuff, please go on over to afldigital.com, and Slasher, appreciate that for posting that. That's a pretty cool site that I'll definitely be checking out. Along the lines of more AFL content, so with this partnership with AFL Fan Zone, I have gotten the opportunity to talk to a few people in this little community here. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, a couple guys will be doing a live AFL podcast on mixlr.com. It's actually at mixlr.com/chase, CHASE, hyphen Risman, RISMAN. I haven't listened to it. I just found out about it today. This will be their first episode of the year. They did a bunch last year, of course. But check that out. It's going to be pretty cool. If you're interested and you like a live where you can actually chat with the people that are doing the audio, then check it out. Like I said, it's at mixlr.com. I will post a link below. If you're interested, please check that out. That's about it for the news. With the game starting this week, that was really all the big news that were out there. Please check out my prior channel. Just search YouTube AFL Outsiders. I post every week all the news that have happened pretty much since mid-February all through March. So there's some other news that if you're just getting into the AFL because the season's about to start and you want to know, please check that out, and you'll be able to get some more of the big news that came up during the off season. But if you're new to my content here and my videos, I do, on my weekly update, I do the biggest news stories of the week and also the most notable transactions. So this week, there's 2 big transactions that came through. First being the Arizona Rattlers announced that wide receiver Maurice Purify has returned to the team after playing last year with San Jose. It's pretty a big story if you're not exactly aware. Maurice played for Arizona for a few years, got hurt at the end of the 2014 season, kind of had a little falling out with the team. The team wanted to bring him back at the middle of last season when he was healthy, but he decided to go elsewhere and sign with the SaberCats, which obviously, as you know, is a big rivalry for Arizona. So it's kind of big news that he's coming back to Arizona, but he signed with them, and that's a big pickup for a team that's just insanely loaded at the receiver position. We got Rod Windsor, Kerry Reed, Chase Deatter, Mike Washington, and now Purify. It's amazing. I don't know how all these people are going to get. There's only one ball, but you need to share the wealth of talent there in Arizona. The other big news in Portland, Shane Austin. So that was supposed to be a big pull for Portland this year. Is, hey, we got Shane Austin. We finally have a quarterback after trying different guys the last 2 years. Kyle Rowley, and guys like that. They got Shane Austin. It's supposed to be a big thing, and then the floor dropped out. The league took over the team, changed the name, all that kind of stuff. I don't know for sure if that's why, but Shane Austin decided to sign with the CFL this month. So he signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So he'd been placed on the other league exempt list. We'll see if that's a full season thing, or if he doesn't make it up in the CFL, or if he decides to come back to the Arena League. Obviously, the Portland still holds his rights. But for Portland fans, no Shane Austin, at least not for this week. But that's kind of the update on him. It's kind of been up in the air. Okay, what's going on with Shane Austin? He was supposed to be on the team. Has been any mention of him? What's going on? Well, that's what it is. He signed with the CFL, and he's on the other league exempt list. But those are the two big transactions of the week. The last segment of my transactions part of this channel is I'm going to go over each team's injured list and their inactive list, which obviously their inactive list, each team gets 2 inactive players, inactive reserve players, and the difference between that and injured reserve is injured reserve, they're on that list and they can't be brought back until week 9, and each team can only bring back 1 player. Teams can use that inactive reserve as kind of an extra spot for practice, bring in some other guys to say, for future use or for a scout body that week, anything like that. Starting with Arizona, their inactive reserve actually has Maurice Purify is on there, and defensive back KJ Morton. Their injured reserve this month, they put on offensive lineman Joe Gibbs, offensive lineman David Wang, defensive lineman Cliff Dukes. That's a big one. Cliff Dukes is on IR. Defensive end Deuce Robinson, nose guard Jeffrey Whitaker, defensive back Kieran Jones, and defensive back Antonio Denard. For Cleveland, they have no one on the inactive reserve list as of today. On IR, they got wide receiver A.J. Barker, wide receiver Devin Wilson, wide receiver Josiah Holt, offensive lineman Aslam Sterling, defensive lineman Isaiah Dunning, and defensive back Kenny Veal. Jacksonville, their inactive reserve list, they have 1 player on there right now. It's nose guard Mark Wivoda. Their IR, they have 2 players, wide receiver Andrew Robustelli and defensive back Chris Pickett. As far as the KISS, on inactive reserve, these are probably the 2 biggest names on inactive reserve for all the teams. Wide receiver Donovan Morgan and defensive back Rayshon Kaiser. That's a big hit if those guys can't play this week. That's their best offensive player and their best defensive player. As far as IR, they got wide receiver Justin Wilson and defensive back LaRon Scott. Orlando, inactive reserve, nobody. IR, they have quarterback Chase Cartwright, wide receiver Brandon Green, and defensive back Arthur Hobbs. Philadelphia, inactive reserve list, defensive back James Romaine, injured reserve list, wide receiver Lonnie Outlaw, and defensive back Peter Ashton. Portland, inactive reserve, wide receiver Dakari Piconis, and offensive lineman Leonardo Bates. And they actually haven't announced any players on IR, so I'm sure they do, and it just hasn't been announced, but I'm just going off of what arenafootball.com says, and they haven't put anyone on IR. And last but not least, got Tampa Bay. They have no one on inactive reserve, and they had put 2 offensive linemen on injured reserve, Bruce Doyle and Alfred McCullough. But that's it. This is the kind of content that you're going to get on this channel for the weekly update, news and transactions. But if you're ready for the season, you want some more AFL content, make sure you check us out on Twitter, AFL Fan Zone. My personal AFL Twitter page is Arena FB Outsiders. That's Outsiders without an E because I ran out of characters. But that's my personal one. Check out our Facebook, like I mentioned before. Just search AFL Fan Zone. There's 2 pages. There's an actual group page where there's discussions and stuff, and then there's also a community page, which is more about, the news and all that kind of stuff. So check out those two things. Check out my blog personally. I will probably be posting on the AFL Fan Zone page, but we're still ironing out all the details of how this is going to work. So as of right now, my blog is arenafootballoutsiders.blogspot.com. I posted daily transactions. I got power rankings. So if you're into power rankings, I will be doing that every week. I don't know if that'll be as an AFL Fan Zone power rankings or just my own, but I plan to do that every week. I posted my preseason ones this week. They're on my Blogspot page. So check that out and let me know what you think. But that's about it, everyone. Like I said, I'm glad to be part of AFL Fan Zone. I hope you get something out of here, and you keep coming back. You subscribe, you like, share, all that stuff that every YouTuber tries to get you to do. But bottom line, we're all AFL fans. Can't wait for the season. We got 2 more days. Finally, kickoff is in 2 days. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. But till Friday, have a good next couple days, and look out for my preview videos coming up on Friday. So take care, everyone, and enjoy your week.